Are you struggling with knee pain in training that just won't go away? Whether you're a seasoned triathlete or you're just starting out, runner's knee can derail your progress, slow you down, and stop you from achieving your goals. But what if I told you there's a simple way that you can manage your symptoms and get back to training at full speed? So today in this video, I'm going to break down exactly how you can prevent and manage runner's knee so you can build unbreakable training consistency and arrive on race day in peak condition. So if you are new to the channel, my name's Joe and this is George. We're both physios and triathletes, and we've made it our mission to help triathletes and runners just like you to prevent injuries so they can build unbreakable training consistency and achieve their potential in the sport. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. So what exactly is runner's knee? Well, it's also known as patellofemoral pain syndrome, and it usually refers to discomfort originating from the tissues within or surrounding the joint between the patella and the femur. So many triathletes and runners start to fear that their knee pain is due to misalignment or structural damage around the kneecap. However, research shows us that the vast majority of anterior knee pain, or runner's knee, is due to the tissues around the knee being overworked and overloaded, and then causes pain, aggravation, and increased sensitivity. So before we dive too deep into treatment and management options, I just want to highlight some of the key errors that triathletes and runners make that means that they start to develop runner's knee. So training error is one of the most common reasons I see triathletes and runners struggling with anterior knee pain. It's when they follow the classic advice of the more miles you do, the better, and ramp up their training volume and intensity too fast, too soon. This big increase in training load too quickly without giving the body time to adapt and recover puts too much stress and strain on the tissues around the knee, and this causes pain and increased sensitivity. So I also commonly see it when triathletes and runners add in additional sessions like hill sprints. This is because ascending and descending hills is going to be putting a lot more load through the front of your knee. So again, this is a really common training error that I see that can lead to runner's knee. Muscle weakness is another key reason why I see triathletes and runners struggling with patellofemoral pain. Two key muscle groups that need to be assessed are your quads and your glutes, particularly your glute maximus and medius. The classic presentation that I see is a runner or a triathlete that's increased their training mileage too quickly and they've ended up skipping their strength and conditioning sessions. This means that they're adding on miles and miles and more training load, and they're not actually helping their knees to become stronger and more resilient so they can handle that training load. So without proper strength and conditioning, your body's always going to be at risk of breaking down, especially if you're increasing your training load too quickly.
If you're a triathlete who struggles to consistently train without picking up aches, pains and injuries, and finds it hard to balance training with a busy work, family and social life, then we have something for you. In our free 14-day Resilient Triathlete workshop, we break down our Resilient Triathlete protocol that helped Joe and I transform from being overtrained, injury prone and inconsistent to confident Ironman finishers, all using simple tools and strategies. The workshop is broken into digestible short daily tasks and videos with other triathletes who are on the same journey. So if you want to take action to become the consistent performer you know you can, then all you have to do is click the link in the description to sign up. Joe and I can't wait to meet you.
Another area to consider may be your running biomechanics. One of the big issues that I see with runners and triathletes struggling with patellofemoral pain is that they're overstriding and they're landing on a fully flexed knee, and this is then putting more load and more braking forces that their body has to deal with, and that can then cause more aggravation and irritation to the knee. One thing that could potentially help with this is making a small change and increasing your cadence. So general advice and guidance here is aiming for around 170 to 180 steps per minute. If you're significantly under 170 steps per minute, that might be a sign that you're overstriding. So then if you do make a small increase in your step rate, what that will then hopefully encourage you to do is reduce your overstriding, and that will then probably help to improve your overall running biomechanics. Really important here though is that you make small changes. The last thing you want to do is a complete overhaul, and you need to make these changes gradually and then reassess. So like I said, is something that can definitely help, but it'd be really good to get more specific advice and guidance on how to optimize your biomechanics. So with managing runner's knee or patellofemoral pain, there's 4 key strategies that I generally go to. So the first one is all going to be about load management. As I said at the start, training error is one of the biggest reasons that I see triathletes and runners struggling with patellofemoral pain. So what we need to do is make smart changes to your overall training load and help you to stay active and running if possible, but you do need to be following some specific pain parameters. So my general advice and guidance here is you shouldn't be pushing above a 3 to 4 out of 10 of pain during exercise and activity. And then you also want to stay within that range for 24 hours after. Realistically, you want your symptoms, if they do become aggravated, to settle quickly after your running session has finished. If you've got increased symptoms that last more than 24 hours, that's a sign that your training load might be too high and you'll need to scale things back. If you can't stick with running in between that 3 to 4 out of 10 pain level, I really encourage you to focus more on your swim or bike sessions, or maybe even swap out your runs for an elliptical session. That will then enable you to keep and maintain your endurance while minimizing the irritation to your knee. So it's a great way for managing your training loads safely, and then you can start to reintroduce running. And I'll discuss a little protocol that you can follow with that shortly. So it's going to be vital that you strengthen the key muscle groups as well. So you need to be strengthening your quads and your glutes specifically, also your hamstrings and your calves, because they're going to be taking a lot of peak forces while running, especially the calf complex. But realistically, you need a well-rounded strength conditioning program, doing the key exercises like squats, deadlifts, step-ups, lunges, wall sits. Single leg glute bridges can also be really good as well. So you need to bring that training load down to reduce the sensitivity in your knee, and then you need to be consistent with strength conditioning work to help restore that load tolerance and increase your overall strength and resilience, so your body can then handle a return to training at full intensity and full volume. So if you have been sidelined with patellofemoral pain and you're anxious about returning to running, a little bit of discomfort during your sessions should generally be okay. But if you are looking for some specific advice and guidance around this, I'd encourage you to do some low-level basic impact testing first and see how your knee responds. So you want to be able to walk for 30 minutes pain-free. You want to then jog on the spot for 2 minutes pain-free. And then if you can do 10 repetitions of single leg hopping on the affected and unaffected side, if you can do all of that without reproducing too many symptoms, then you should be good to start building up your training load in a smart and controlled way. Again, sticking in between that 3 to 4 out of 10 pain range and monitor your symptoms for 24 hours after. So if you manage your training load properly, you're consistent with strength conditioning work, you address any biomechanical issues, and then you're also doing the basics right. So you're sleeping well, eating well, managing stresses and worries in your life. All of this will really help you to manage and improve your runner's knee and get you back to running and training at full speed. So I hope you found this video helpful. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and then watch this video that George has made about how to make sure you're running properly, because this will be vital if you're recovering from runner's knee.